Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bull's Central. I wanted to review for the first time Resident Evil Village, which is now a 5-year-old video game. Doing math. I loved this game when it came out, and indeed I was running this very YouTube channel at that time, but I was kind of in a funk at that time. I remember, like, I wasn't feeling very well mentally, right? So I wasn't really making videos much. I was making a video like once a month or something. So I played this game in full back then. I shot all the footage for it as if I was going to make a review, and I never did. I never cut it together. I never recorded the vocal here like I'm doing right now. So this is my chance to review Resident Evil Village for the first time, because it's one of my favorite modern Resident Evils, at least. And that kind of includes, by the way, the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake games, which are just superb. I still feel like Village is kind of more my speed because it's interesting. It's creative. It's kind of genius in a lot of ways. We'll get there. The main reason that I'm doing this today, is that Resident Evil 9 is coming out. Resident Evil Requiem. That's coming out like in a month. And I'm really, really, really excited for that. I love Resident Evil, man. I've always really loved Resident Evil. I go all the way back to like Resident Evil 2 and Code Veronica. I played Code Veronica on the Sega Dreamcast, by the way. Okay, there's a 90s in for you. Resident Evil Requiem stands to do this thing that Resident Evil does again and again and again, which is reinvent itself by kind of pinching stuff from different eras of itself and adding new elements from itself for itself and making kind of a thing that's new. Resident Evil Requiem looks like it's kind of the best of both worlds between the third-person stuff of like Resident Evil 4 or those remake games that I was talking about up through 2, 3, 4, and also the first-person stuff of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard and Resident Evil Village here, right? So there's a reason for this. I'm excited for Resident Evil right now because there's a brand new main entry and I just can't resist that. So let's go. Let's do Resident Evil Village.
Perhaps you are disillusioned with overconfidence just because you killed my small-time subordinate.
Sadler, you're small time.
It's a very interesting game because Resident Evil 7 blew the doors off this franchise for me. The game series has gotten stale. I don't know if y'all remember Resident Evil 6, but it ain't no Resident Evil 5, which wasn't a Resident Evil 4, okay? If you know what I'm saying. Like, it started to downgrade kind of around 5-ish, and then definitely for 6 was a low point in the modern era of the series for me personally, in the main entries, okay? And the thing about Resident Evil 8 is that it's a direct sequel to that 7, which was in like a plantation house in the South, and it was first person, and it was super creepy, man. And it was a little difficult too because it was more survival than action when it comes to survival horror, right? There's kind of two different flavors that we try to embrace here, and it was definitely more on the survival horror. It was a little tough. Resident Evil Village. They got this idea, Capcom, I found out here doing my research. When they started developing this thing, they set on this idea of doing it in not a claustrophobic way like that plantation house in 7, but a kind of a big open village where anything fast, keyword fast, could come at you, right? Also scary. But because you've upped the fast nature of it, you've also upped the action-based nature of it, which makes it more appealing to a wider set. Okay, you follow me here? And since we've got this wide open thing, what could we do that is wide open? Well, how about a village rather than just one house? You see? And isn't that village sort of like the great village that was in Resident Evil 4? And if it's more actiony, isn't it a little bit more like Resident Evil 4? So can't we bring in other things like typewriters for saving? Can't we bring in things like the old item-based system, the item management, with is like a briefcase with kind of squares in it that you can kind of Tetris yourself the next gun if you can make it fit, right? So that's where Village comes from. The story, however, is kind of bonkers. I don't really know where these guys come up with this stuff. I used to come up with some pretty creative stories too, because I wrote a lot of stuff back in the day. It seems like a stream of consciousness story to me. It almost seems like too good to be true that they actually developed this. That they actually took the time to, like, you know, this beat goes here, and the big old lady Demiscus Chew I said that totally wrong. She pulls out a thing and she becomes a big monster. It's just a stream of consciousness. It's like a film. It unfolds like a really trippy like A24 film, right? Or like a one of those new kind of horror films of the modern era. And it flips between things really, really fast, and it has some very strange ideas, some very colorful ideas. So when you get that going, and you've got the action going, and you've got kind of the retro feel from the Resident Evil 4 stuff, plus it's a direct sequel to Resident Evil 7, which was a great game, and it's got this gothic village and this cool castle and all these things,
I am enjoying this scene.
Get on with it!
Get on with it.
Yes, get on with it!
It's just a really special game. The only thing about it is that some people think it's too easy, and I kind of get that, especially since, like I said, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard was a little tougher. This had a wider appeal. I ripped through this game back then in a few days, really. I did, which is unusual for me because I'm kind of a slow gamer when it comes down to it. I just had to keep going. It had this intriguing thing, just like 7, but it was more action-based, which is what I like. So, all in all, man, with that history and with kind of my praise for it and my worship of it here, I know that it's not everybody's favorite, and I know that Requiem is going to have kind of, like I said, the more mixed nature of kind of the best of both worlds type thing. But I hope it has something new to show too, because I feel like 7 and 8, those two games from that little time in the Resident Evil history there, they're just special. They're just interesting. They're special. So I would have given Resident Evil Village a 9, and I still would give it. I just played a bunch of it. I didn't finish it this time because I feel like, I finished it. I'd have to do it again. But I played half of it. It's not really that long of a game. That's kind of another bummer about it. It's only like 10 or 12 hours really, if you just kind of play straight through. But that's okay because it's a killer experience. So I'm still going to give it a 9. How's that? How's that for the re-review of Resident Evil? I feel like talking pisses people off. I'm going to stop.